Ever get that feeling? Like you're supposed to be the best
Yeah.
at everything.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like there's this pressure to constantly be at the top of your game.
Totally. Well, buckle up because today we're taking a deep dive into a poem that flips that whole idea on its head.
Ooh, I like the sound of that already. I'm ready for a perspective shift.
I think this one will deliver. It's called Be the Best of Whatever You Are.
Catchy title. Who's the poet?
It's by a guy named Douglas Malloch. He's pretty big back in the early 1900s.
Early 1900s, huh? So we're talking like vintage inspiration here.
Totally vintage.
Yeah.
We don't have a ton of info about his life, but honestly, his poetry speaks volumes. And even though it was written over a century ago, it feels shockingly relevant today.
Okay, color me intrigued. What's the poem all about?
Well, it kicks off with this vivid image right in the first stanza. He talks about a pine on top of the hill and a scrub in the valley.
Ah, I see where he's going with this. Classic symbolism.
Exactly. He's playing with those societal ideas of success. The pine, tall and proud, represents that image of reaching the peak. While the scrub down in the valley feels kind of overlooked.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're always told to climb the ladder, reach for the stars, all that jazz.
Right, like be the pine. But here's where Malloch throws a curveball. He says, be the best little scrub on the side of the hill.
Whoa, hold up. So it's not about being the biggest or the highest, but the best version of yourself.
You got it. And that hit me hard. Like, how often do we feel less than because we aren't that metaphorical pine at the very top?
Oh, all the time. I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate to that feeling. I know I can. But just think, have you ever seen a truly thriving scrub? They can be pretty amazing in their own right.
Absolutely. And he takes this idea even further in the second stanza. Like, he zooms in even closer, going from trees to a tiny blade of grass.
Wait, a blade of grass? That's even smaller than a scrub.
I know, right? He even mentions a fish. Like, if you can't be a muskie, be a bass, but be the liveliest bass in the lake.
Haha, wow, he's not messing around. I love that. That's such a powerful image. Even the smallest thing can have its own kind of greatness.
Right. It's not about what you are, but how fully you embrace it.
Totally. Like maybe you're not the CEO of a huge company, but you can be the most helpful, supportive colleague anyone's ever met.
Yes. Those small acts, those everyday efforts, they can have huge ripple effects.
You really can. And then in the third stanza, Malloch brings in this awesome metaphor about a ship's crew.
Oh, yeah. I remember this part.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone can be the captain, but a ship needs its crew to function.
Exactly. He even says, if you can't be the highway, just be a trail. So, like, every role matters, whether it's big or small. It's about finding what's meaningful to you and rocking that role.
This is making me think about all those unsung heroes in our daily lives. Those people who might not have the fancy titles or get all the attention.
Oh, totally. But they're the ones keeping things running behind the scenes. Like, think about the folks who keep our cities clean or the teachers who inspire the next generation. It's so true. And Malloch keeps driving home this message. If you can't be, then be. It's like a mantra running through the whole poem, and then, bam, in that final stanza, he drops the mic.
What does he say? I'm on the edge of my seat.
He says, it isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are.
Wow. That's it right there. The whole message in 2 lines.
Seriously, like, true success is about being the best you, not trying to outdo everyone else.
I love how this poem, even though it's short and sweet, manages to pack such a punch.
Totally.
Yeah.
So we've really broken down this poem, explored all its layers, and I think uncovered some pretty awesome insights about defining success on our own terms.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that we all have something unique to offer.
Definitely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's worth asking ourselves.
Yes. Go on.
What does it mean for us to be the best versions of ourselves right here, right now?
What would it look like if we brought that energy, that authenticity to everything we do?
I think that's the real challenge, and probably the most rewarding one, too. Malloch, that vintage inspiration guy, would be proud and maybe a little surprised at how much his words still resonate over a century later.
Definitely. Well, that's it for this deep dive, folks. But I encourage you to check out the poem for yourselves. Let it sink in. Who knows, maybe it'll inspire you to be the best you that you can be.
And remember, best doesn't always mean biggest or loudest. Sometimes it's about the quiet, steady work of being true to yourself.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
And keep being the best of whatever you are.